Mariana Bonfim. I'm the Managing Director of the Temple Ambler Field Station, and for the hands-on experience, I'm going to teach you how to read tree rings. So when a tree grows, it actually grows this way, right? So it leaves behind all these growth rings. So each year in the life of a tree can have some sort of information. So you're looking for how far each ring is from each other. For example, here you're looking at how central the rings could be relative to the whole tree cookie that you have. So the tree rings can mean each year in a tree's life, and in every year, just like in our life, something exciting or challenging can happen on the tree's history. So for example, for this ring right here, this would signify for 1 year in this tree life, and then the other color that you see different is just another year. So between this and this ring, you have 1 year on the tree's life growth. So this one right here, it didn't have a pretty eventful life actually, so you don't see the colors being that much different, but there are cases, for instance, that you could find some sort of like fire scar. So these would be darker, indicating that that tree had been exposed to fire. Or for example, in this one, you see the center of the rings being a little asymmetric, right? They are in this direction here and not perfectly in the center of the cookie, which indicates that this tree potentially grew experiencing some wind that was pushing the tree towards a different direction. So it kind of like compensated for that wind effect by growing a little bit more asymmetrically. The story that this tree is telling us is that it grew in an area with some wind, not a whole lot, but some, so it has an asymmetrical center. It also grew in an area with plenty of water and light. The way that we can tell that is by looking at how far the rings are from each other, and you see how they, like in the early years of the tree, so as you move towards the center, in the early years, these rings start to be more far apart, which means that the tree was able to have light, to have water available, so it was growing really happily, you can say. And as you get further and further towards more recent years, you see how the rings start getting smaller. So it means that the tree was slowing down its growth, potentially because it's also really old. This is a really old tree. And the way that we can tell is by counting the amount of rings that it has. I think the importance of community programs like Ambler in Bloom is to really welcome the public to our spaces, our beautiful Ambler Arboretum of Temple University, the Temple Ambler Field Station, and connect the public to the science that we've been doing. So the methods, for example, for reading tree rings can actually tell us a lot about the disturbance histories of these organisms, which help us predict, for example, what could happen in the future. So besides being interesting and cool, it can actually be science. So by teaching you about how to read those tree rings during Ambler in Bloom, I'm teaching you how to do science, and maybe you can look at a tree in your backyard or a tree at your park and try to reconstruct what happened to that tree's life and how we can use that information to predict the future.